Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the EDM Grid podcast. My name is Henry, also known as Hank Ray. Sadly, Oswald isn't here again. Life is busy. But I'm sure he'll be gutted to miss out this episode because I'm very honored and excited to bring to you someone who, has gotten songs on loads of different games. Rocket League, my beloved. Done loads of cool stuff, loads of remixes as well for people who I'm sure we'll talk about later. Ladies and gentlemen, Glacier, how are you doing today?
I am doing good. It is snowy. I've got some apples here. I just drank my coffee. We just chatted for a while.
For those of you who aren't aware, Glacier also does BMX biking, so I'm sure this has not been a great day for doing that. Just going out biking when it's minus degrees outside and it's all snowy and... Well, actually, it isn't that bad, you said.
Yeah, it forces me to lock in. Work on some tunes, work on some art.
Ew, working on some songs?
Some things organized.
Never. I'm just sit down and do nothing all day. Lie in bed scrolling Instagram Reels or something.
Yeah, I've actually just got two monitors. One's got Subway Surfers going. The other one just has some GTA Big Ramp. And then I've just got my phone propped up in the middle of the desk, and I just scroll all day.
No, you need to have those terrible mobile games just in the background, and then some guy just completely failing at it the entire time. That's what we need. This is what we need on the EDM Grid podcast. We don't need any sort of fancy graphics. Just put Subway Surfers in the corner and call it a day.
Exactly. Engagement will go up at least 5,000%.
Of course. See, I want to sort of talk to you about some of the stuff you've made, because you've had some absolute bangers, and I wanted to sort of know, I did say this before recording, what do you classify your genre as? Because you do a lot of Botanica stuff, bassy stuff in the past, but not really anymore. Very ambient as well. What would you say your stuff is?
I think the best single term for it, which is it's such a wide term too, is indie-tronica, and there's so much stuff that kind of could fit under that, but really it's a mixture of it's electronic music that has sort of a focus on feeling a bit more, not necessarily acoustic, a little more natural, because I do put so much sort of Foley and textures and more natural instruments, guitars and acoustic and stuff. So it's I almost think of it as like electronic music, but gateway for people that don't listen to electronic music.
How
it's not necessarily EDM.
How did you come up with this sort of genre? Because when I listen to your discography, which I've been doing for ages because it is banger, it's sort of in this you've been doing it for a long time, but it sort of evolved to be less bassy and less actually EDM electronic, and your last release, which we'll talk about later, is very much more leaning towards the acoustic side of things rather than the electronic side of things. So, how did you come up with this in general?
I think initially when I got into production, I was just listening to a lot more electronic music, strictly electronic music. That was at the time, Virtual Riot was pretty huge for me. I got a pretty big into the producer headspace, loved watching Mr. Bill's tutorials and really sound design focused things. Listened to a lot more drum step, dubstep sort of things, melodic house, and it was just more of, I listened to more of that stuff, and I still do. I've just kind of, I think, gone a little bit past it to where I more so like electronic music that brings in other genres. Sometimes like you'll have like some boom bap, maybe like some jazz focused EDM sort of stuff, or maybe even there's like a lot of people mixing in some like prog rock into their electronic music, and I just like that electronic music can be so diverse, and it takes so many other genres and puts them back into this one core space that I just find really fun. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I think as time progressed and my sound kind of became developed, I wanted to pull in more genres that inspired me, and it's kind of just formed into what it is now, I suppose.
So yeah, so you sort of always wanted to take different genres and see how you could experiment it with sort of EDM.
Yeah, for sure. Because even in like, I would say like my first proper release was the Slap EP, which has a lot of elements of like, there's a lot of guitar, a lot of bass. There's like a lot of funk going into it too. It's sort of like the earlier days of glitch hop. And even at that time, like I knew I wanted to make stuff that wasn't necessarily just like heavy hitting dance tunes, you know. Yeah, just always wanted to pull something else into it.
When did you actually start making music?
It's probably around 2013 or 14. But it was I kind of like stumbled a lot getting into it. I've played music before then, like I played instruments and stuff, but that was around the time that I actually got into learning FL Studio. And yeah, it was a rocky road to begin with because I just had a friend like torrent FL Studio, and I didn't watch any tutorials. I didn't go into the manual or anything. I just opened the program and tried to figure it out, which was in some ways a good way to do it, and in most ways a very terrible way to do it, because I just like for months would have this problem and not know how to fix it. And eventually I'd like kind of learn it on my own, which was cool. But like, yeah, I spent way too much time not knowing what I was doing because I was stubborn, I guess.
It's like completely ignoring all the different tutorials and stuff. Just going, oh yeah, no, I can figure this out. Spoiler alert, you did figure it out.
There might be a part of me too that, because when it comes to learning like guitar and drums, I am like mostly self-taught because my dad kind of pushed me to be self-taught. He didn't want to push it on me because he played instruments too. He didn't want it to feel like he was making me do it, sort of thing, I'm imagining. And I think for that reason, maybe I wanted to be like, oh, I'll self-teach myself this program. But I definitely could have just watched some tutorials and gotten a lot better faster. But that's okay. But yeah, so like 2013, I was like getting into the programs, but it probably took a few years before I really like was like, oh, I like am really wanting to do this, you know? So there was a bit of a limbo years of like learning and kind of experimenting of wanting to even do it. So yeah.
Was there a turning point where sort of you started to go, oh wait, this is actually sort of, I'm getting good at this now. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, I'd say it would be, so I was in college for biology, but I was just slacking off a lot and not going to class and spending all my time just writing music. And eventually moved back home from university. And at that point, I'd gotten a good amount of practice in with what I was doing and was feeling a little more confident about my skills. I hadn't necessarily developed like much of a style of what I wanted my music to sound like, but I at least had a good grasp on how to do things. And that was when I kind of felt, once I started to feel confident in like, oh, I like know how to do these programs, then I could get into a different mindset of like, now the question is like, what do I want to do with this? You know, like what style of music, what sort of, you know, visual arts could maybe accompany this, and then actually start piecing things together to make it less just guy learn program and more actual
professional
musician
sounding and like actually sort of what you knew how to do.
Yeah, and coming up with like an actual like sonic identity instead of just writing a song that's based off of Adventure Time, or
I mean, that's
doing
valid
like
though.
I remember. Yeah, and like I remember writing like songs with like Minecraft sounds in them, or making like remixes of anime opening songs and stuff. But yeah.
Okay, so we're sort of then getting into 2016. Wait, hold on. 2016 was your first Monstercat release. 4 years before you then started to get somewhere with it and actually releasing on Monstercat, because you said you started 2013, 2014, and then 2016 is when you had your first Monstercat release. That feels quite quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'd had a good grasp on music before then, just because I played like drums and guitar for so long. And then it was kind of like the whole year of at school was spent just working on music. Moved back home, worked on music, and then I actually went to a trade school for audio engineering. And I ended up working at that school as well, teaching. And in the middle of teaching audio engineering was when I was also like improving what I was doing a lot and started to release on Monstercat. So they were like happening in conjunction.
How did that start? How did you get your first sort of song accepted? Because Monstercat back in the day was incredibly big.
Yeah, it was the first that Slap EP that I worked with was released through a label called Wolf Beats that they had worked with Nitrofun at the time. I think they were managing him at the time as well, and they wanted to start to work with me, and they had a little bit of a connection with Monstercat, and they were showing them my music. Even though it wasn't getting accepted like right away, they had an idea of who I was. And then at one point I did the Pegboard Nerds and Jaws Get On Up remix contest through Splice, which I ended up winning. And that kind of solidified, I think, their idea of me. So they they knew who I was. I'd won a remix contest through them. So then when I started to work on like the next demo, I got the vocalist Kayla to lay down some vocals for it, and we had kind of decided like this could be like a real thing that we actually pitched to them. So we sent it over to them, and they had a call with us, and yeah, they liked it. They normally like to, and they mentioned this during that call, that they like to, when they bring on a new artist, have at least a few songs that they sign, so that they can sort of get the fans a little bit familiar with the artist, so there's not just like a one-off showing up and leaving. But they'd already sort of not necessarily developed a relationship with me, but had a good idea of me and like how I was growing a fan base sort of thing, and saw that forward growth. So they were like, we'll work with this even though it's just the one song right now. So I think they saw some potential in me as well, which is nice.
So this was nearly 10 years ago. God damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it sort of like, oh my god, this is happening moment where they sort of went, oh yeah, no, this could be a thing, and then work with you to actually make it a thing?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because like I mentioned Virtual Riot, there was a point where I basically just like wanted to be Virtual Riot when I was like learning production and stuff, like as far as like the music I was making. So like what really influenced me to get into electronic music was the early days of Monstercat, because that was just like dominating electronic music, and that was my idea of like forward thinking cool electronic music. And I was like, this stuff is so sick. I would love to be able to do stuff like this, and to actually like end up on the same label that inspired me to do it is just a really, really cool full circle moment, So yeah, it was definitely very cool. And yeah, I remember having like some celebratory moments with some friends at the time and things like that.
Was there much revision for the song itself, or did it just sort of go, oh yeah, no, that's really good, you're accepted now?
Actually, not a ton. It was mostly just like because I at that point never had worked with vocals before. So they were just like, yeah, like just send us like the difference, the vocals versus the instrumental, because we just want to make the vocals louder. But that was all that they did, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah, it's funny because like looking back on that song, I don't love the mix on it. That's okay. This is a decade's worth of knowledge ago.
yeah. What I find is that so
But
many
still,
people listen to their old songs and just go, "Oh my god, this sucks. I could do so much better now."
yeah, I definitely can. But like at the same time, I like being able to go back and see like where I was at that point. It's like a nice time capsule. So I'm okay with older projects having imperfections that I would definitely change nowadays, but still wouldn't actually change. You know.
Did you also have any influence over that art style? Because that sort of character, the alien looking thing, is sort of very present in your older Monstercat releases, and then in your album and your Koki Chant release, it's also there. So, like, was that sort of something which you just came up with for the theming, or was there inspiration behind that?
Yeah, there wasn't necessarily any direct inspiration for it. I just knew I wanted some sort of defining character, just because I thought it would be like a fun way to have a visual representation that could be followed along without necessarily everything being exactly the same. Because I wanted some sort of identity where like you could look at that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's that guy, sort of thing. But still have it be versatile enough where it's not like every single like artwork or every single post or whatever looks totally the same. And I think there's also a part of me that I'm a big fan of like storytelling, whether it be pretty in the background, a little bit abstract. So I kind of wanted there to be this like character that I can sort of do some storytelling with, but not have it be necessarily the focal point, you know?
Do you also want to do some of that storytelling in your songs as well, or sort of make a story in the songs, or is it just the art?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I would say that that's kind of how I like treated a lot of songs, especially like the Monstercat releases where they feel like sort of like their own unique place. I really wanted I like this idea where a song can be this sort of escape that you go into, which I think is why I lean so heavily into like textures and atmospheres and why I'm so inspired by like really ambient game soundtracks. I just love this feeling of listening back to this track and you're just like transported into this song, you know, and it ends up being sometimes a safe space or like a space for you to have some nice introspection or make it through something you're going through at the moment. So yeah, I just love that sort of feeling. So
So then you had Neos and Nurture, and was that sort of you wanting to continue releasing because you wanted to continue the momentum that you had with the first release?
Yeah, and I actually Neos, even still, I would have to imagine, is the song that I wrote the fastest, because I think I was just like so excited at the time, you know. I wrote it in like a month, which for me it usually takes me like 6 months to write a song, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I've like started and finished Neos within like a 3-week span, because I was just so stoked on it. And yeah, I think I was just like stoked about the project I was working on and music in general, sort of thing. So there's just a lot of good momentum going into it.
It's crazy how,
and it's also
you're sort of speaking like with these songs as if it was your first time doing a lot of this stuff, which is crazy because like listening back, it sounds still very sort of clean and like you very much knew what you were doing and sort of had a very big understanding. But it's sort of funny to hear that like, oh, your first release was the first time you've worked with vocals, and like you're still very new to it.
Yeah. Yeah, even like though I do think the difference from a technical aspect of like mixing from like Dancing by Myself to Neos was a huge jump. Like I feel like I'd kind of recognized that like there's a bit more of a higher standard to hold myself to. Whereas in the past, it felt like I was kind of like releasing music, and you know it's okay if like a mistake made it to the final thing at the time. But you know, as like projects got bigger and stuff, I was holding myself a bit more accountable in that regard.
Did it also
and not
help
letting
that
things
you
go
sort
so
of,
much?
with this new space that you found yourself in, you also sort of had more people that you can go to and go, hey, how did you do this, or how did you do that, and sort of learn from them as well?
Definitely, yeah. Because I'd started to like make some friends with other artists, big or small, you know, and it's just had a much better network to actually bounce ideas off or send a demo and be like, hey, is this good? And sometimes it would be like, this isn't good. I'd be like, okay, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Which definitely helps a lot, you know, because it's so easy. You spend, you know, weeks on end working on this one thing that's like a few minutes long, and you're like, this is the best thing ever. But you get into this like loop where it is a bit cyclical. It's really good to take a step back sometimes, and even just get a fresh set of ears, whether they know anything about music or not. You know, even if you get like just a friend to listen to your song and they're like, oh, okay, cool, or like, oh, this is kind of weird, you know. Yeah, perspective helps a lot.
Yeah, especially because, like, again, around that time, the Monstercat bubble was pretty big, so you can sort of go to people and go, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?
Yeah. It definitely helped a lot with making things technically a lot better.
So then you sort of continue releasing. You had Neos, you had Nurture, and then you decided to you had Enough as well, which that was another incredibly good song. How much did you improve? Because you had a pretty big gap between songs. Was that you still learning new things and improving, or was that you coming up with ideas for your next song?
I think it's some of it is like demos that wasn't going to work out, so some time spent on that. Some of it is also, like I mentioned, I am way too much of a perfectionist, to my detriment, occasionally. So like I mentioned, Neos took a few weeks to make, whereas I think Nurture and Still, the actual time taken to write those songs was probably 6 to 8 months. I just was like extremely meticulous, sometimes like to my downfall, where I think that I'm a little too hard on myself and let things sit a little too long because I'm trying to make sure that they're exactly how they should be, which was, I think, kind of the downside of like getting into the space now where I have a little bit more eyes looking at me. I'm working with like bigger labels sort of thing, and I think I almost had this headspace of like, oh, now everything I work on needs to beat the last thing that I did, you know, like everything needs to be a little bit better, or like perform better, or like reach new highs sort of thing, which isn't necessarily bad, but it was kind of making me not write the music the way I wanted to, not in any like final product, but in like some demos and stuff. It just made me go into like, oh, I want to write a new demo today, or like work on a project or something. And it would get to a point where I'm like, this sounds cool, but it's not going to work on this label, so I don't want to continue this. Or it's like, oh, this sounds cool, but like, I don't think it's a little too weird for what I want to do. So I'm not going to pursue that. So I was in that headspace for quite a few years, I think. Which was why, part of the reason why there's such a big gap between a lot of my projects.
just sort of the pressure of being on this label and going, oh my god, my songs are getting hundreds of thousands of streams, so like everything has to be perfect and all the little details.
Yeah, which looking back, like there's no reason I couldn't have just like self-released a smaller song in between bigger songs and had it underperform in comparison, but like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm still just like releasing music I like.
I think it's also like putting stuff out there is just like you never know how the audience is going to react to it, so it's sort of like just put out your stuff because it's like people might like it and it might resonate with people. If it flops, it flops and you move on, but it's about being able to see what people like and sort of seeing, oh yeah, this is actually going down pretty well with people. Maybe I could do this and experiment with this instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just got a little too in my head with that, which is just made me slow with actually finishing projects. So
I also need to ask, because this is probably around the time that this is happening, but when did your stuff start getting into Monstercat? Or not Monstercat, Rocket League?
Still would have been the first.
Still was the first one.
Yeah, so like when I was working on the Temple Inward EP and like sending demos over to Monstercat A&R, they really liked Still, and they were like, I have a good feeling about this, and they sent it over to the head of music at Sonics, and he really liked Still a lot, so they really wanted to use it because they used it for the Lucky Lanterns like update, the like Lunar New Year update.
That's really cool. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, they just felt that they used it for like the trailer for that update, and then also when the update was live, I think that was the main menu song for while that update was happening, which gave the song a lot of traction. But also, like I think they just really thought that the style of the song fit that sort of vibe. So it just happened to work out really well.
So was it sort of like from the get-go, like once you put it out, it was like, yeah, this is going to be a Rocket League song, and just going from there?
Oh yeah, it was even before. So like in the middle of sending demos over for that EP was when I'd kind of gotten like an email back that was like, hey, we sent this over to Rocket League and they really like this one song, and I was like, oh, okay.
Sort of just,
so even before the EP came out, like it was predetermined.
How many of your songs are actually in Rocket League?
Just 2. Yeah.
Enough and Still, I think.
And there's another one. Well, there might be another one coming.
There might be another one coming.
Yeah, but I can't say that.
Oh, we got so. Wait. Hold on. That's big news.
No. Like, no, it's not. Like, there might be another release that's already out.
Oh, okay.
That's old. Like another old release. Yeah, not a big deal. But like, not like it's a big deal to me, but not like an insane. No.
No, you're not like coming back and getting another.
No, I'm not dropping that all of a sudden.
Okay, all right. Just dropping it randomly in the middle. There's another song coming soon.
No.
So yeah. So what was then making an EP like for Monstercat? Because
that at that point actually, so I'd been teaching throughout the past few years, and that was when I actually moved back home because I didn't want to teach full time, even though it was around music. It still kind of took time away from the project that I wanted to pursue, this project. So that was when I actually moved back home and just dedicated like 6 months to writing music, which in retrospect, I could have written more music than I did, but that's okay. I wrote that EP and a couple other things. And yeah, I'm super proud of it. I still love, I'll occasionally like go back because I did an AMA on the Monstercat subreddit right at that EP's release, and I'll look back at that every now and then just to see like people's initial thoughts on it. And yeah, it's a project that I think was like that was kind of where you could see where I was going, was that sort of project with where my whole music had gone. And it really felt like I felt proud of what I'd done. Not that I wasn't proud prior, but like I really felt, I was like, oh, like this was what it's all about, sort of thing. So yeah.
Was there much revision with making that EP and sort of getting the songs on there?
Yeah.
Lots.
Definitely, yeah.
Work.
Because like it's like pretty diverse as far as the sounds in it. Like I don't really know if any of the songs match genre of another song within the EP. It's like some glitch hop, some like up-tempo funk stuff, some sort of future bassy things, some
sums
like
up sums up your artistry in general, just like combining loads
some
of
like
different things,
ambient breakbeat-esque things. Yeah, it definitely was like there was a lot of revision just to try to make it feel more coherent, I think, because it'd been, I'd worked on a couple EPs before, but this was the first time that I really wanted to make like sort of a coherent sort of sound, coherent sort of lyrics and things I'd like to say. It was also, I'd sang on Enough. That was the first song I'd released where I'd sang on, but like Temple Inward was where I felt like I truly had more space to actually say something, just because it's a longer project. So yeah.
You actually you sang on Enough? That's really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was my first release I'd ever had my own vocals on.
Because you have a few more now, right?
So yeah, there's that, and on Temple Inward there's vocals on Hang Limb and Ubi, and then I've got vocals on Warriors, Koki Chant, a couple View songs, and then like all throughout my album, and obviously the new music as well. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool then, because like the first song that you put vocals on, was it nerve-wracking to sort of have your own vocals on there and see how people thought of it?
Yeah, it's I'd since I was teaching at that time at like a music studio, basically I'd done a good amount of just like vocal recording for other projects. Usually they were kind of like silly things, stuff to do just for fun. So this was the first time I really approached it in a serious manner. And it was tough at first, mostly because it took a while to really find what sort of style I could sing in that fit my music. I think that was my biggest fear, was not necessarily that, oh, I can't sing, or, you know, it's okay, or like, oh, it's not going to be perfect. I was actually okay with my vocals not being perfect. But it was, I was worried that like the style, like what if the style doesn't fit? You know, like what if my voice is only made for like blues vocals, or like only worked for something that didn't even jive with the music that I made. But yeah, exactly. But it just I think it just happened to work out to like I found a style and a range that made sense with my music. It's like a little fun, a little serious. I'm very happy with how my vocal style has turned out, because it makes the whole project just feel intrinsically more me as time goes on.
Yeah, it's more personal.
Yeah.
Just because like it's you who did the vocals, like every single part of this song is all entirely you, and it's like you have your own voice featured on it as well.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot easier to truly like get the emotion across that you're trying to say, versus just something that's instrumental. I think the only thing now is I feel like since I sing on so much of my stuff now, I almost fear that I don't make enough instrumental music, you know. I like the instrumental music, so
you just want to sing on all your songs, and it's like you don't have anything that you
maybe I should make an ambient album or something.
You should do that. You should do that. 2026, we will be there for the Glacier ambient album.
I mean, I feel like my style is like fluid enough. I don't think people would be too upset.
So like a
okay
whole
with it.
Botanica album or something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of albums, great segues. I wanted to. We've talked a lot about your sort of older stuff, but you've also been releasing a lot now, or at least a lot more than you did. And last year, nearly not last year, but last year, you put out your first studio album, and you have said previously how you were a bit of a perfectionist in terms of releasing songs. Was this a moment where you just went, you know what, I'm just going to release an album because I need to put more stuff out there and sort of just make songs whether I like them or not? Or was there inspiration behind you wanting to make an album?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just that, I'd been releasing some singles and stuff after the Temple Inward EP, but like, I really liked the longer format of that and felt the need to do something bigger, even more coherent than previous projects. So I really wanted to just make something that was a longer format where I could say more. I could really like get a point across of what I'm trying to say and make, I mentioned like a song feeling like a place that you can escape to, but like this album is like, maybe it's a little too coherent. I feel like the songs like truly like almost like blend together in kind of an interesting way. But like the album feels just like a place that you could be inside of and just kind of lose yourself. I just knew that I wanted to do a longer project, and I'd been working on a lot of these songs over the course of a couple of years, and was really struggling to find a place where any of them could be like a single release. It's just, none of them really made sense, but I'd work on one song and then I'd maybe start another demo, work on that. And it was just like the stuff I was writing felt so like together. I was like, I knew I could find a way to really pull this into something that was maybe a little bit of a like bigger, meaningful sort of thing. So, yeah.
Was it not intended to be an album then, but it just sort of ended up becoming together as an album because of just how you were making songs at the time?
I'd say I didn't intend for it to be an album after, or like right away, like when I was working on the first one or two songs. But then I started working on some more demos and I really could feel a bit of a stylistic melding between them all. So then I started to really like formulate like, okay, I think I can do something bigger with this, and I've never done an album before, so why not? And got started on it. And initially it actually, the initial idea was like, I'm going to write like a 5-song lo-fi EP. Just because I like a lot of music that's like a little more chill, pretty jazzy. So I'll just write something like that. And then like, as I was doing that, I was like, this isn't lo-fi. I was like, I don't know how to write lo-fi. Well, I'm sure I could if I truly wanted to, but yeah, it felt like it was turning into something that was much more than what I'd sought after, in a really positive way.
Complete happy accident.
Yeah. I was, like a lo-fi EP, I guess, would be cool, but at the same time is maybe not as unique as what the project turned into actually being. So yeah, I feel like it's just slowly progressed into this super natural, textured, stylistic, like woodsy, foresty feeling jazz electronic music.
It's in the cover art as well. It's your character just chilling in the middle of an island, which you also do have a lot of islands in your cover art. Is what I'm slowly starting to realize. It's linked back to the storytelling element, which is probably best in the album as well, where you have a whole 11 songs to be able to tell the story that you want to tell about this island and the chillness of it all.
Yeah, that's definitely why as a whole the project feels a little more mellow than some of the stuff I've worked on in the past, because when I sought after or started doing this, it was a lo-fi project, and then I put in a lot more energy to it. So it ended up being a bit more explosive than that. Still pretty chill as far as music goes, but like there's definitely some moments that are a little bit heavier than definitely than lo-fi.
Yeah. Not as heavy as some of your older stuff though. Like I feel like
Yes.
like your peak Monstercat days was very, or at least a lot more electronic than it sort of was there, where now it's a lot more natural and just sort of the electronic elements are Foley and ambience and maybe a couple drums.
Yeah, and like it's funny, when I was wrapping up the album, I'd kind of realized that it was the first, like, well, maybe not in a while, but like it was a project where throughout the whole thing, I don't think I did a single bit of like a Reese bass sound design session or anything. There's no like glitch hop, like low end basses happening in any of the songs. A lot of the like bass is just like subs, or there's even one of the songs drifting through the main bass that happens throughout that song is actually like a rubber band that I recorded.
That's so fun.
And it just has this like wonky bouncy feel. So it's like, yeah, it really felt like I had kind of stepped away from this like sound design like serum preset tutorial world and just like kind of made my own thing.
Did you feel a shift in it as well, that you sort of focused more on the ambience and the sounds rather than sound designing and electronic stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because I made a pretty big point for a lot of the transitions between songs to flow together so nicely. It's kind of like a package that like almost goes into itself forever, from like front to back. And yeah, I really love how like these textures between all these songs like fit like a puzzle piece. And yeah, it just really solidified like walking in the woods. That's just how it turned up to what it turned out to be. Yeah.
And I guess that's also we've got to talk about your newest release on Exobolt, which I was very happy to see you on there, because Exobolt is an incredible label. I've been following them for quite some time. I'm guessing that was also a very similar thing where you sort of was more experimenting with natural sounds and like not really using much actual electronic stuff.
Yeah, because that one actually, when I started that demo for Safe and Sound, I started it in a folder that I was actually calling like B-sides for my album, because I was kind of at the time playing around with like, oh, maybe I could release like a deluxe version with like a few added songs, and wanted to play around with that idea, but ultimately kind of scrapped a lot of it because I didn't really like them as much as I thought I would. And I kind of like that project just being as it is. I don't feel the need to add on like 5 demos of songs or something like that. It feels like a pretty complete package. So yeah, I turned that B-sides demo into Safe and Sound, so that's why it like sort of follows suit stylistically to the album and fits in, because I was just in a very similar sort of headspace while writing it, and similar inspiration for a lot of the sounds.
Did the label approach you, or was it a case that you wanted to
for Exobolt? I think I'd talked to them a while ago about they'd been like, hey, if you ever want to do something for a compilation, that'd be cool. And I was like, sure. And then a lot of time went on, and then they're like, do you have anything? And I was like, oh, actually, I think I do. And sent it over, and they're like, okay, cool. But it was actually supposed to come out last year, but it conflicted with the album release for when the compilation album and my album were coming out. So it didn't work out. So we actually pushed it off a whole year for coming out this year.
Oh yeah. And then recent release on Exobolt 12.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who else was on that? Because I remember seeing a lot of people on that sort of compilation, and it was very diverse and a lot of different sort of styles coming together, especially because I felt that your style was incredibly different to the other styles that were also on the compilation. So I found that really cool to sort of see.
With I know with my song, they really liked. They thought that it fit the artwork, especially of the sort of story that they were deriving. So they really wanted it to be sort of like a title track for the compilation in that sense, which ended up making a lot of sense. But then I mean, there's like my song. There's like Complexive. Obviously, there's Infowler, Electric Dad, Eccentric. There's a pretty good diverse range of stuff. There's like some color bass. I don't even know what you categorize mine, like some indie.
Yeah.
Kosu and Jonah's Wise, like the final track of the compilation, is so good. It's such a like feel good song. It's good.
Question.
Yeah, they did a good job.
When you did the Koki Chant remixes, were some of the people which you got for that from you planning to release on Exobolt and then it never actually happened?
No, actually. So the Koki Chant remixes, Complexive, I've mostly like just known him from online circles. We've just had some like passing conversations here and there, and I think just as time goes on, we've just like kind of gotten to know each other a bit. And I knew I wanted to get some remixes together for Koki Chant, so he was definitely like at the front of my mind for that. Similar Outskirts, we'd been following each other for a while, but we actually met in person at Second Sky at the festival that Porter Robinson puts on, or has put a couple on, I suppose. And then we've just like kind of stayed in touch since then. And then Kipt, my manager found him through All Nighter, I believe, because I think he was on All Nighter 8.
Yes.
So I don't think we would have known about him otherwise. And he's such a small artist, and he's really good. He is like, when he was sending me demos of stuff, I was like, how did you do this so fast? This stuff's crazy.
Yeah, you've also been on a lot of all-nighter stuff, which I sort of put to the back of my mind, but you've also been around in that sort of space. One of them was the All Nighter 8 that had Sharks, Dion Timmer, Skybreak, Virtual Riot as well, which now thinking about it was a very full circle moment for you as well, being that, you talked about he was your inspiration and you wanted to be Virtual Riot, and then you were in a compilation with him.
Yeah.
And then you're on the last one as well, which was incredible. The last All Nighter was such a good track list.
Yeah, there's so many good songs on that. I love the most important meal of the day. That song is amazing.
It's also good because I had so many people that I sort of knew that was on that, like bit of space. Lilybug, shout out to Lilybug because she is great. You were the ending track as well on that, so the last one.
Yeah, and I was really happy with that too, because Park was an artist I'd been wanting to work with for a while, ever since his album came out. His stuff is just like done so well, and all the artistry around his whole project is just spot on. It's so cool.
Well, I feel like we're getting to the end of the episode, so I feel like I want to hear about the stuff that you've got in the works right now, looking to go forward, because I'm very excited to sort of hear how you're taking this new style that you have and making it into how you're going to explore it. So what sort of stuff do you have in the works right now that's going to come out eventually?
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think I've ever had this much music stockpiled ever in my life. Um, I feel like especially after releasing my album, I've just gotten this desire to do big projects and like especially lately I've been trying to do more like all-nighters. Like I did the remixes. Like I want to be a bit more collaborative moving forward and working with new labels, new artists, and just like really diversifying stuff. And yeah, just like having fun writing music and working with other people and putting stuff out there. So right now I am working on technically like 2 albums and like 5 different singles outside of those albums. So it's like 23 songs that are almost finished at the current time, which is a lot of music. It's like it'll increase my discography by like 50%.
Oh.
And I'm hoping for pretty much all of that to come out this year for the most part. So yeah, so a lot of it, I'd say, I know we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but like a really big focus of mine is I really want to get into the video game space where I can score a project. So my bigger projects that I'm working on right now that are pretty cohesive are almost like me showcasing a little bit of those skills. A lot of the music still has like that sort of natural electronic feel to it, but is a bit more out there and a bit more focused on like an ambient feeling, or like songs that like have more storytelling elements to them where they might accompany. I'm quite literally writing a story to them, but also like could accompany like a game or just kind of like showcasing those skills. I almost am kind of viewing it as if like, well, if no one's gonna hire me to score their game, I'll just like make my own sort of soundtrack inspired project anyway, so I can be happy regardless. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff I'm working on still has like that very like natural feeling, maybe not as much as the album, because I feel like that album like is super duper, like it sounds like sticks and like wood sometimes. Yeah, so I'm doing a bit more like like these 2 albums are sort of connected in a sense, and yeah, there's a bit of like a sort of like side A, side B going on, a bit more like synth focused things. I'm doing some more like bass sound design. Some songs are heavier, some songs are even goofier. Yeah, I'm excited. It's I feel like it's like my most diverse project so far. Like it's got a little bit of stuff for everyone. It's got some like glitch hop inspired funk things for like the people that like some older school Glacier stuff. It's got some like dancey parts for people that like the Monstercat stuff. It's got natural things for people that like the more chill stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like putting everything that I've done into new stuff while also like catering it to this idea of storytelling that I'm trying to get further and further into. So yeah.
Do you also have any like other stuff planned, like remix or like remix compilations? Because you have had a few remix packages in the past.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I straight up next week on this week on Sunday. I guess the 17th, I believe. I have a remix coming out for Vorso for his Holonomy remix EP, which I am so excited for. His album is one of my favorite electronic albums, maybe of all time. I think it's so well done, and he is such a good producer. I am like still so excited I got to work on this for him. So yeah, that's coming out. Pretty stoked for that. I'm also like working on some remixes for my own stuff, but I don't exactly know the release date for those ones. They're kind of happening in the background. I've gotten a handful of the remixes back, and I'm very excited for them. They're really cool. It's mostly just like a lot of homies remixing some of my stuff. Homies that I really like their music. People also that like I want to work with from a collaborative like point of view as well. So it's nice because it's like they're working on some things for me, but then also once we're done with that, we can work on some stuff together. So that as well. Yeah. And then I mentioned this as well before, but I've got a couple songs coming to a rhythm game soon.
Yeah.
Some originals. I've also got a couple songs that I'm working on that I think are just going to be like one-off singles that are a little more like indie than stuff I've released in the past, like almost more guitar focused than a lot of my other stuff. Sort of like exploring that space, but not like so deep that it's doesn't feel like Glacier at the same time.
So basically, we'll be eating good.
I hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
this release coming out Sunday as well. I'm very excited to hear what you've done for that.
Yeah, this remix is pretty wacky. It's like
is it adjacent to any old stuff or any new stuff, or is it completely different?
I think it's kind of completely different. It feels it's weird. Kind of weird.
Well, we will be waiting. We will be there. Well, when the episode comes out, it will already be out, so you can go check that out. But I'm not there yet. I'm still past.
Past self.
Well, we have gotten to the end of the episode now, nearly to the end, and since Oswald isn't here, I'm legally obligated to ask. I know you've showcased some bangers on another channel, and potentially scarred the person who runs that. Bowtied Media, go check out his episode, because Bowtied is such a good sort of person and YouTuber, and he needs more attention. What kind of stuff do you listen to right now? What kind of stuff are you really enjoying right now? What is your current music taste that you go, oh, I really like that?
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff. I've been really diving into a lot of things that would maybe be categorized as like plant music. Not necessarily like Botanica, but like sort of Botanica adjacent things, or people that make these albums that are like, they sound like a soundtrack, but they're just albums. There's this artist called Salamanda that's really cool. I think they're a duo based in Seoul. And yeah, their stuff, it's so pleasant in the background. Or I really like this artist. A lot of people know them. It's Masakatsu Takagi. They scored like the Wolf Children movie, the movie Mirai, The Boy and the Beast. But they've released so much music, and a lot of their stuff is like this. Yeah, just like really sparse piano. Sometimes it's like the songs just kind of sound like the wind drifting past you. So I've been diving deep into that sort of genre a lot. I've also been listening to a lot of sad girl folk.
What a genre.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you know Ichiko Aoba. Her stuff is just like really soft and ethereal. It kind of sounds like if an angel was singing to you. But then also I love a lot of sort of like indie electronic stuff, like some quickly. I've been listening to a lot of Baths lately as well, just kind of diving into his discography. I listen to Tennyson a lot. Tennyson's probably been my most consistent artist throughout my life. His new album, AKA, is very, very cool. I like that he's kind of experimenting with some new, more dancey type stuff lately, which is fun. Big fan of Kogane. Shout out Kogane. Doesn't have a huge discography, but has a great discography. He's also like released on All Nighter and stuff. And we plan on doing some stuff together, but we haven't started anything yet. Yeah.
You listen to a lot of stuff, then
yeah.
I take it. Just a lot of different forms of music.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah. I'd say I'd listen to most things except for like pop. I don't listen to a lot of pop music, or like pop country. It's not really super my style. Though I can listen to like a lot of like smaller people doing like some pop inspired things. I don't know if you know like James Ivey, or like Wiley Hopkins doing some like almost 20 like Y2K-esque pop, which is kind of fun. Or like city pop is nice. I know we talked about that a little bit too.
Yeah, city pop. Yeah. Shout out Matthew if you're watching for getting me into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of sort of different stuff that you listen to, which is very nice.
Lots of game soundtracks also.
That's
Lots
true.
of game soundtracks.
Because I love asking this. Well, me and Oswald, we both love this question because every single EDM artist listens to stuff completely outside of EDM as well, which is very funny because it's sort of not really what they make, but it's also interesting to see what they listen to outside of what they make.
Yeah.
Well, it is getting to the end of the episode. It's been an absolute blast. But before we go, now is your opportunity, if you will. At the end of the episode, we let whoever's on speak about whatever they want to. If you want to shout out any of your songs that people should go and listen to, like the new one coming out really soon. If you want to tell everyone to go subscribe and hit that like button, then you can do that. Now is your opportunity to say whatever you want and shout out anything that you want to.
Yeah, cool. What up, fam? Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit like. If you're on Spotify, I think, what do you have to follow it? I don't remember how it works. I don't really listen to podcasts. Make sure you smash that like button.
Join the Discord for any future. No.
Yeah. Sign up for the email newsletter.
We're not that advanced yet. We don't have that.
Oh, dang.
I'm missing out.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think we covered a lot of the stuff. Because I think as far as future music projects that I would shout out, I kind of want to leave them a little bit in the dark, just so I can surprise people with things as they happen. But yeah, I mean, I've got that remix coming out for Vorso here soon. I remixed the song Big Drum. Tried to keep the song quite rhythmic because it's literally called Big Drum. I felt like that was appropriate. But yeah, I mean, other than that, just keep being cool, you know?
Yeah.
Eat food that's good for your gut biome, you know, some fermented foods. Go on daily walks if you can.
Go BMX biking if you really want to.
Yeah. Health is wealth. Keep yourself healthy, but don't forget to have fun.
Go listen to the album as well. Go listen to that album.
Go listen to the album.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it. It takes me back to the headspace I was in while I was writing it. And yeah.
Well,
that's all I got.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It has been a blast talking to you and completely yapping for the past hour.
Yeah.
Incredible as always. But once again, my name is Henry, also known as Hank Ray. Oswald, aka Oswald, is not here. Thank you, Glacier, for coming onto this episode. And we'll see you on the next one.